Hi, and welcome to episode 50 of CultureWatch Radio. I'm Andrew Smith, and with me is Mr. CultureWatch, Bill Muhlenberg. Bill, normally we think of feminist endeavours and the United Nations as a complete opposite of pro-life and pro-family values. But one lady has managed to turn that on its head. How does that work?
Yes, Andrew, there have been various champions around here in Australia, and mind you, I rolled up almost 33 years ago now, so I've been at this for a while. The pro-life battles, pro-family battles, culture wars. But a few folks were at it even longer than I. In fact, one gal back in 1979 started a terrific ministry, which came to be known as Endeavour Forum. And we're speaking of the fantastic, the indefatigable Babette Francis. She's done so much for so long on so many fronts, basically working out of her home, no fancy offices, no large staff, big budget, just a very concerned wife and, mother who was a very good wife indeed, a very good mother, but managed in her spare time as well to really, in many ways, start, along with a few others, some of the pro-family culture war battles that have been raging for so long. She really was early on one of the real champions. So it indeed is a real honor to have Babette Francis with us today.
Yeah. Babette, I want to ask you, how did you first start Endeavour Forum, and what was the beginning?
We started in 1979, I think, and I think the beginning was at the time we were part of another pro-family women's organization, but they weren't dealing with the issue of abortion, and I and my supporters felt that abortion was the most important issue in the whole pro-family, pro-life battle. And so we started Endeavour Forum.
What's it like fronting up to the United Nations and battling against the militant feminists and their agendas? And is it really as bad as it's made out to be?
It's even worse than reported. It's quite scary, actually, because we're in a minority group there, the pro-life women pro-life organizations are in a minority at the UN, and so it's quite a scary experience. But we have to hold up the flag for pro-life issues for the unborn child, and so we battle on.
Do you desperately wish you had more people from our side joining you at the United Nations?
Oh, we very much wish there were more people on our side at the UN. It's quite a scary experience. First of all, it's terribly expensive. To go from Australia to New York is a very expensive experience. And we don't get enough support, from even within Australia, enough financial support for a start. So it's a very expensive procedure. And we do wish there was more support, but we're grateful for those women who do come from a number of countries. And quite interestingly, they come from countries you wouldn't expect who don't have very much money, like a number of African countries. Pro-life groups struggle and come over there. And so we're very grateful for their support and quite inspired by them, because these are not rich organizations. They're battling themselves, their own poverty for a start. So we're tremendously impressed by the efforts they make, and very pleased to have them on board.
Can you give us an example of where the pro-life and pro-family people turning up to the United Nations have had an unexpected victory?
Well, we haven't had many unexpected victories, but we have had a few. And oddly enough, it's come from the African countries that we've had these support from the African countries that we've had these victories. They can see the enormous damage caused by UN policies to their countries, because they're battling a number of their own local problems like poverty and disease in many cases. And so we're very gratified by the support from some relatively poor African countries. It's been quite inspiring.
Babette, you keep your finger on the pulse still with many late night calls and emails, so you would know what's going on well ahead of any news reports that are always after the fact. What are you currently seeing?
Well, the future just means the battle goes on. What is disheartening for us is that many wealthy countries like Germany and the European countries don't support the pro-life and pro-family battles we fight. And this is tremendously disheartening because the European countries are wealthy enough to support us in this battle. And the very sad part is they don't even see the diminishing prospects of life in their own countries because the populations of Europe, I think, are in decline, and they don't see that they need to support the pro-life organizations in less wealthy countries like in Africa and join us in this pro-life battle.
Babette, you've now hit 91 and you're stepping back a bit. What's next for Endeavour Forum?
I'm not quite sure what's next for Endeavour Forum, but we keep on trying to encourage trying to encourage our younger members. The problem is largely financial because to travel from Australia to New York to fight these battles is a very expensive proposition. And so, the best we can do is fundraise and I try to inspire some of our younger people in New York to take up this battle. But it really is. It's quite a financial battle to do it from over here. It's what they call the tyranny of distance we suffer from.
Bill, it seems quite the uphill battle to change the world from over here in Australia.
Well, it is. Mind you, Australia is part of that world, and even if we fight the local battles here in Australia, as people like Babette Francis have done for so long, and so faithfully, that contributes to the overall battle. Of course, the U.S. often leads the way, Europe can lead the way, but well, we do what we can. People like Babette have had an impact overseas, but certainly here in Australia, she's fought the good fight for over 40 years. I've just done a mere 30 plus years, so I've got a ways to go to catch up with a champion like her. And I just did a quick wiki search about her. There is a little short page on her, not all that flattering, and certainly not listing any of her great achievements. It's as you would expect, a fairly negative view of her and Endeavour Forum. So that's going to be the case. The world is not going to recognize people like this. They're not going to be heralded or have their praises sung. It'll be probably in the next life when so many of us will realize just what a great job she did and how much of an impact she had. So it's these older champs, if I can, and we'll be doing more of them in the episodes ahead. It's really these people who laid the foundation. They're the ones that somewhat younger activists are following in their footsteps. So the world really does owe Babette Francis a real debt of gratitude, and we are very thankful that she's been around for so long fighting the good fight.
Yes, amazing, these quiet achievers. Always on the pulse, there's more at the Culture Watch website, and we'll see you again next week with another episode of CultureWatch Radio. Subscribe where you listen at SoundCloud, YouTube and Rumble so you don't miss a thing.